we greet our friends everywhere with Chapter 4 of The Monk of Wittenberg, the story of Martin Luther. This is another in the series, Stories of Great Christians, and is brought to you by the Moody Bible Institute in Chicago.
Martin Luther, wait for me!
What is it, Alexis? What is wrong?
I have terrible news. The plague has broken out here in town. Even some of the students have it.
The plague? The Black Plague?
Yeah, it is here, in Erfurt.
It does not seem possible.
And that is not all. 2 of the students are dead from it already.
Oh, this is terrible. It has spread all over Europe, killing.
The doctors are checking up on everybody. Martin, do you think we will get it?
The Black Plague came to Erfurt while I was at the university studying for my master's degree. The onslaught was sudden and it spread very quickly. One moment we were studying and laughing together. The next, many of the students and professors were dead. This was a terrible experience for all of us. But often much good comes from just such experiences. For the first time in my life, I was forced to think seriously about religion. I was suddenly faced with my unrighteousness and a possible encounter with the righteous God I had been reading about in the Bible. School was dismissed because of all the sickness, and I went home for a vacation. It was Easter. I'd forgotten just how beautiful the German countryside could be at this time of year. There was much to tell my mother and father, much to show them. Especially my new sword. It was the custom in those days for travelers to wear swords, and mine was beautiful. My good friend Alexis was going home in the same direction, and we walked together.
We are almost to Mansfeld, Martin. Almost home for you. It does not seem possible that we should have left the plague behind us.
But it does seem possible. Look at this beautiful day.
Yeah.
It is good to return home on such a day, huh?
I am still several days' journey from my home.
You must stop at our place.
I should like to continue, Martin. We do not know how long the university will be closed because of the plague. And I want to take full advantage of this vacation.
No, nein, we must use this time for work. It will not be a vacation. The expenses are greater each week, it seems.
I have been observing you this entire trip, Martin. You constantly look at the sword by your side. You are quite proud of it, are you not?
Yeah, but you have a sword, too.
But mine is old. None too sharp. Yours is almost new. Bright and shiny, a beautiful weapon. Must have cost you a fortune.
Not a fortune, but enough. I've worked many weeks for it. See?
It is a good sword, all right. But be careful, Martin. Those things can be dangerous.
Oh, not when you know how to use them. I've been reading a book about defending yourself with a sword. This is one of the tricks I learned. Watch me. First to the right. Then in like this. Oh.
Martin, it cut right through your shoe.
My foot is bleeding, Alexis. Do something.
I do not really know what to do. Here, let me take off your shoe. There, I don't want to hurt you. There we are. Oh, what a nasty gash. Have you something with which you can tie the wound?
Nothing. Alexis, we are close to Mansfeld. Go, find my father. Have him bring a doctor. I cannot walk with this deep cut. I shall remain right here until you return.
Very well, Martin.
But hurry, I'm losing much blood. I have severed the main artery in my foot, and there was little I could do to stop the flow of blood. Once again, I was afraid of death. I prayed to as many saints as I could remember. I prayed for help. I prayed, "Oh, Mary, Mother of God, help me."
Your father came just in time, Martin. Another hour, and I could not have done anything.
How do you feel now, Martin?
Weak, Father.
You'd better stay in bed a few days. I come again tomorrow and take a look at it.
Will he be all right, Doctor?
Yes, Doctor. Will my son be able to walk again?
He will. Put your mind at ease, Herr Luther. He will be up and around in a few days. But you can consider yourselves very lucky. He came closer than you know to bleeding to death.
The specter of death seemed to be hovering about me at every turn. What if I should be taken away? What would happen to me? These were questions that were constantly on my mind as I returned to Erfurt to finish my schoolwork. My master's degree was soon accomplished, and I matriculated in the School of Law. At last, my father's wish was coming true. I was not exceptionally happy in the law school, but I passed it off as hard work. Then, one day, my friend Alexis was taken ill.
Come in.
Alexis, I hope I am not disturbing you.
No, of course not, Martin. Come in. Come in.
I could not believe it when they told me you were sick. You've always been so full of life, Alexis. What is it? A bad cold?
No, it is not that, Martin.
Well, whatever it is, you will be up again in a few days. You want any help with your studies?
No.
Oh, but you should not get behind. Alexis, what is wrong with you? Well, please, tell me.
Martin, I am not going to have to study anymore. Ever.
What do you mean?
I am dying, Martin.
Oh, no.
The doctor has told me.
No, Alexis, I don't believe it.
It is true. It is true. Martin, I'm terribly frightened.
Frightened? But you should not be. Not really.
I cannot help it, Martin. I've tried not to be, but I am. And it is getting worse by the hour.
Is there anything I can do?
Just stay here for a while. It will not be so bad then.
I will stay.
Martin, I have been so sure of myself. Up to now, I thought it cowardly to be afraid of death. But there is nothing I can do. I am afraid. And why am I, Martin?
I do not know, Alexis. I wish I did.
I hope, Martin, I hope for you that you will never experience this. I hope it is different for you. I would not want anybody to go through what I am going through. To be so frightened. Because I am not sure of anything.
Alexis died 2 days later. I felt a mixture of sadness and relief. Why was I relieved? Because I had shared that experience that he had not wished me to have. I'd been terribly afraid of death with him, and now the only difference between Alexis and me was that he was no longer confused. A decision that had been forming in my mind became more and more mature. Finally, I had to speak to my father.
No, Martin. I will not hear of it. You have just begun. You cannot give up the law career just like that for no reason.
But I am not interested in law. I know that now.
That is no reason.
Your father wants you to be a lawyer, Martin.
I know that, Mother. It is just
I
that...
have had to sacrifice so that you could get an education. I wanted you to have a profession that would pay you well, so that you could even, well, help us a little.
Martin, what has happened to change your mind? Your professors tell us that you will make a good lawyer.
Yes, a good lawyer, a smart lad. That is what they tell us.
This has nothing to do with abilities. I told you, Alexis' death is...
But we all have to die, Martin. That is the way of things.
That is right, Martin. We all have to die.
Yeah, that is true. I know we all have to die. But not like Alexis. Not with such fears.
Well, that is just one of those things. Some are afraid, some are not.
But I knew Alexis' father. I knew him better than anyone. He was not afraid of anything. Studies, money. Alexis was never afraid of anything in his life.
Death is something different, Martin.
But it should not be. If we can be sure of everything else, why cannot we be sure of death, too? Why should we suddenly be changed into weak, frightened creatures when we know we are going to die?
Martin, you are too upset. Go to bed, sleep. In the morning, things will seem different.
I am unable to sleep. I can see those eyes, blue and horribly frightened. It is not right, Father.
Try and forget it, Mark.
Alexis should not have said that he was not sure of anything. He should not have said that. He should have known why he was living and why he had to die.
And do you know that, Martin?
I am not sure now, Father. That is why I know I must not study law anymore. There is something else for me to do. The next night, I was walking in the meadows near my father's house. A storm was approaching. I was almost unaware of it. My thoughts were of Alexis and of death. It started to rain as I reached the hills surrounding the meadows. A thin, penetrating rain that soaked my clothes and added to the depression I felt. Then, suddenly, I found myself on the ground. The lightning bolt had hit so close as to knock me over with its impact. I staggered to my feet, muddy and frightened, encompassed with the anguish and terror of death. The horror that I felt had grown with every meeting with death. The plague, the time my leg was injured, Alexis' death, and now this meeting. God. I was afraid to face God. A decision that had been growing along with my fear was made in an instant. If I was to prepare myself for meeting an almighty righteous God, I had to become holy myself. And there was only one way that men thought they could become holy. And that was by entering a monastery and in solitude and in seclusion from the world, learning the way of God, the way of holiness.
And so we conclude Chapter 4 of The Monk of Wittenberg, the story of Martin Luther. This is another in the series, Stories of Great Christians, and is brought to you transcribed from the Moody Bible Institute in Chicago.